Have you ever wondered why a tiny kitten can enter a loving home and still act as if the whole world is dangerous? For a British long-hair bicolor kitten, a new home is not an upgrade yet. It is an unread map of risks. Every smell is unfamiliar, every shadow feels larger, and every sound arrives before trust has had time to grow. What looks like silence to us is often a storm of calculations happening behind those wide, round eyes. He is not being cold, dramatic, or stubborn. He is trying to survive a place he does not understand. In his mind, safety comes first, curiosity comes second, and affection can only bloom after both. That is why the first minutes in a new home can feel longer to him than an entire day feels to us. And if we read his signals correctly, we can watch fear slowly turn into belonging. The moment the carrier door opens, his fluffy body does not see freedom first. It searches for control. His bicolor coat may look soft and elegant, but inside, his instincts are scanning for exits, cover, and distance. He studies the floor before he studies your face because the ground tells him whether he can flee quickly. Even the air matters because scent is the first language a kitten trusts when everything else feels uncertain. If he freezes instead of walking out, that pause is not weakness. It is his brain buying time. He is measuring light, temperature, movement, and the strange rhythm of a human home. To us, the room seems calm, but to him, every object is a possible question mark. So the first psychological task is simple and huge. Find one small place that feels less overwhelming than the rest. That is why many kittens choose the nearest corner, chair leg, or blanket cave before they choose you. Hiding is not rejection. Hiding is the first shape that safety takes. A British long-hair kitten often looks extra calm while hiding, yet that stillness can be full of tension. His ears stay alert, his whiskers angle forward and back, and his breathing tells the real story. From that hidden spot, he begins building a scent map, one breath at a time. He learns where fabric smells warm, where the floor smells clean, and where your footsteps always return. This is how a new home stops being one giant unknown and starts breaking into smaller, understandable zones. The more predictable those zones feel, the more his courage quietly grows. Your voice matters here, but not because he understands every word. He listens to tone, pace, and softness, asking one question again and again. Are you emotionally safe? A slow voice lowers pressure, while quick movement can make the room feel bigger and more dangerous. When you kneel at a distance instead of reaching in fast, you tell him he still owns his choices. That choice is everything, because trust in cats is rarely forced. It is volunteered. The kitten does not want a hero who grabs him. He wants a witness who lets him think. And the moment he realizes you are not chasing him, your presence becomes less like thunder and more like weather. That is the beginning of trust. Not touch first, but relief first. Then comes the second inner conflict, because fear and curiosity are born side by side in kittens. He wants to hide, but he also wants to know where that faint food smell is coming from. He wants to stay invisible, but that crinkling toy near the wall keeps pulling at his attention, so you may see him stretch his neck forward while the rest of his fluffy body stays anchored in safety. That half step is a psychological miracle because bravery in cats is usually measured in inches. Each sniff at the air is him asking whether the world is still stable. Each glance back toward cover is him checking whether retreat is still possible. Confidence begins not when fear disappears, but when curiosity finally becomes just a little stronger. Food and water are emotional signals too, not just physical needs. A kitten who eats in a new home is not only hungry, he is beginning to believe the environment may sustain him. A kitten who refuses food may be saying the room still feels too exposed for such a vulnerable act. Drinking, chewing, and swallowing all require a drop in vigilance, and that drop only happens when alarm softens. Even the litter box carries psychology, because using it means he accepts this place as part of his territory. If he circles, sniffs, and steps away, he may still be deciding whether this corner truly belongs to him. Once he uses it, a hidden line is crossed. The home is no longer just yours, it is becoming shared, and shared territory is where attachment starts to put down roots. New homes are loud in ways humans barely notice. A refrigerator hum, plumbing vibration, elevator thud, or distant door can feel enormous to a kitten's nervous system. When his ears twitch before your ears hear anything that is not overreacting, it is survival equipment working perfectly. The British long-hair bicolor kitten often pauses after sudden noises because his brain is comparing danger with memory. If the sound repeats without harm, it slowly loses its power. That is why routine is one of the greatest gifts you can offer a new cat. Predictable footsteps, predictable feeding, predictable light, predictable quiet. These patterns tell his body it can unclench. And a body that unclenches becomes available for play, learning, and love. When he finally leaves the hiding place for longer than a few seconds, he is not just exploring space. He is testing whether safety still exists when he moves away from it. Doorways become emotional checkpoints because crossing them means entering a less controlled world. Watch how he places each paw, low and careful, like he is reading the floor through his fur. His tail may stay low, his body slightly crouched, but his eyes begin to collect details instead of only threats. He notices the window light, the edge of a rug, the smell of wood, and the softness of one certain bed. In that moment, home becomes a puzzle he might actually want to solve. And solving it gives him dignity, not just comfort. Vertical space changes psychology faster than many people realize. The moment he finds a stable stool, cat tree, or sofa back, his world stops feeling flat and vulnerable. Height lets him observe without being cornered, and observation is the bridge between fear and confidence. From above, your British long-hair bicolor kitten can watch your patterns and learn that you are consistent. He sees when you sit, when you leave, when you return, and when your hands bring only gentle things. That larger perspective helps him organize chaos into routine. It is also why the first real play session often happens only after he has found a place to survey. Once he feels he can retreat if needed, his playful self finally dares to arrive. Play is not just entertainment, it is emotional recovery. A cautious bat at a feather toy is his nervous system practicing courage in a safe story. Each pounce says, maybe I can move boldly here and nothing bad will happen. Each tiny chase rewrites the room from a place of uncertainty into a place of possibility. You may even see the first flash of personality, the sideways hop, the proud pause, the curious stare. That is when the kitten stops reacting only to the home and starts expressing himself inside it. For a bicolor British long-hair, those moments often look soft and funny. But they are deeply meaningful, because joy is one of the clearest signs that fear is losing ground. Night brings a different psychology altogether. When the house becomes quieter, many kittens become braver, because the world finally matches their preferred tempo. In the dark, he can investigate without feeling so watched. He may revisit every corner, retrace every scent trail, and check whether the home is the same as before. This repeated inspection is how memory becomes security. If he chooses to nap in a more open place after sunset, that is not random. It means his body has judged the environment safe enough to relax where escape is slower. Sleep, for a new kitten, is one of the most honest forms of trust. The biggest misunderstanding humans make is assuming affection should come before certainty. But most cats, especially sensitive kittens, love best after they feel safe, not before. When he avoids eye contact for long, he may not dislike you. He may just be protecting himself from pressure. When he blinks slowly from a distance, that tiny gesture can carry more trust than a forced cuddle. When he rubs his cheek on a table edge, he is not only marking furniture, he is weaving himself into the home. And when that scent-marked path begins to include your hand, your clothes, or your chair, something beautiful has changed. You are no longer just the giant in the room. You are becoming part of his safe geography. By the second or third day, small rituals start shaping his identity inside the home. He learns where morning light lands, where quiet lives in the afternoon, and where footsteps mean dinner. He may greet familiar sounds sooner, that recover from surprises faster, and spend less time measuring every shadow. The British long-hair, bicolor kitten who once clung to cover may now sit in the open and simply watch. That watchfulness is different now. It is no longer panic, it is participation. He is not merely surviving the house anymore. He is beginning to belong to its rhythm and letting its rhythm belong to him. That mutual adaptation is the true emotional architecture of home. So when a kitten enters a new home, the real journey is not from room to room, but from alarm to trust. He starts with caution because his instincts love him enough to protect him before anyone else can. He expands through scent, routine, choice, height, play, and the quiet proof that nothing bad follows curiosity. Little by little, the hidden kitten becomes a watching kitten, then an exploring kitten, then a resting kitten, and finally, he becomes a connected kitten, one who can seek you out because he no longer fears losing himself. That is the beautiful psychology of a new cat homecoming. Safety first, affection second, attachment forever after. So the next time your fluffy bicolor boy hides, remember, he is not pulling away from love. He is learning how to trust it, and that makes every small step toward you extraordinary.